Ooh. Wait a sec, team. Communications right here. I just see if that was working then. Wait a minute. Settings, audio. How are we going there? We got the comms? Hello, hello. Can you hear loud and clear? Loud and clear now. It's just not coming up on the screen like normal. Okay, strap it on, Dean. Strap it on. How you going, team? Welcome to Friday night. Got to tell you, I'm feeling pretty dusty under the weather at the moment. Very under the weather. Neville, no cash here. What's going on? Well, I think I'm going into what they call it when you get sick again, remission or whatever. I feel sick now 99% of the day. It's not feeling good. What have we got here? Okay, sounds good. Fantastic. Well, guys and girls, it's not about my tummy today. It's not morning sickness. Just waiting for a few people to get on, and I thought tonight we might cover something, because I was with my daughter till late, and just discuss the difference between the AS-21 LAV, equivalent, which is going to be the Boxer, reconnaissance vehicle, armoured reconnaissance upgrade that we've been waiting for a while. Well, since 1996, really, with the LAV, which is a fantastic vehicle. As a matter of fact, I don't think there's going to be a hell of a lot of upgrades to this vehicle. It's going to make that much difference, considering we're going to wait a long time for it. Will we get it? Will we give it to the Ukraine? Who knows? $5.2 billion. It's a lot of money. It's going to go to the Cav guys. They're going to be pretty happy. Everyone loves something new. And this is versus the IFV, the infantry fighting vehicle, a Redback, that Australia's got for the infantry again. Supposed to get over 400 of them. Now we're not. And that looks like it'll be delayed, a lot of it, and we might be getting them around 2027, something like that. Again, with a global election on the precipice at the moment, I think they should hurry it up. I really do. We kind of need it yesterday. As it is, we've got infantry battalions now between mechanised and motorised that don't necessarily have a fighting capability that upgrades or is able to match what their unit description is. G'day, Jen from up north. How we going? Robbie Wall. G'day, buddy. Crusher. It's been a while. Good to see you here, mate. Colin Martin. Where are we? I'll do the comments over this side, so it doesn't look I'm looking off the screen. And thank you very much, Kyle, for your respect there at the start of the show. The IF infantry fighting vehicle, Labor screwed us. Yep, they probably cut the numbers so they could give money to transgender studies, I'd imagine. Went cheap, and we'll put it on us diggers who pay the price. Absolutely, that's what we've always done, hasn't it? And that's if we ever get the Boxer or the Redbacks. Well said. I hear you. I absolutely do. And that is basically what I've got in the questions as well. Will we get them? Will we give them away? Brady, he says courage. Hang in there. Australia and New Zealand are always known as the can-do militaries, because you don't have to give us a lot, but we'll make do with what we have. We normally conquer. We normally defend and beat, hit well above our weight within C3, the command, control, and communications. But anything to do with survivability, lethality, and manoeuvrability is a good thing, right? Will it make a big difference on the battlefield? Not necessarily, because both of these vehicles, sadly, will be destroyed by any armour-defeating weapon system that's on the battlefield already. And we're seeing that already with, despite the fact they're not using combined arms very well in the fight in Ukraine and Russia. We're also seeing the vehicle, God bless it, Cotton Socks, the 8 Israeli engineers that just lost their lives in Gaza. And to all of those around the world, for a matter of fact, that are in war-torn areas we don't even hear about on TV, I'd like to say, okay, to the Father and Son and the Holy Spirit, rest in peace. I appreciate it. I understand the patriotism that comes with those that serve, and it's not always met with the enthusiasm or moral courage of those that serve us or think they're serving us while they're getting fuel, car, milk, accommodation, incidentals, getting fatter by the day with their wet mouths you wouldn't trust near children. It's funny, our leadership has the least amount of leadership, and most of our leadership comes from the trenches. That's always been that way too, the guys that do the dying. So a bit of a nutsu cow for those out there. G'day, Smiley, how you going, mate? Saw your message today. Great to have you here. We've got a couple of videos here today. We'll start off with one just to get your lips a little bit smacking about something that could be coming our way. Then we'll discuss some things.
So the training we've been conducting for this last week has allowed us to conduct the operational test and evaluation.
G'day, Major Dan Solomon. And when I talk about leadership, I'm not talking about, mate, I'm normally talking above that, a colonel or above lieutenant colonel, when they start to get the big pay rises, when they stop seeing soldiers, and they get around with the shit salute, shit hat, and never really remember the reason why they're there at all. Go and get dirty.
For the Land 400 Phase 2 Boxer Combat Reconnaissance Vehicle capability. So the Boxer Combat Reconnaissance Vehicle has far greater protection and far greater mobility in the ASLAB, which allows us to traverse similar terrain to what a track main battle tank can. The progression of training has been quite rapid. The soldiers responded quite well, and over this past week we've well and truly proven that they understand the capability. They've picked up very rapidly, and now moving forward, pushing this capability to its limits.
It's high range, team. That's high range. One of the biggest range training facilities in Australia. Average temperature feels like we're about 48.
So some of the things that I love about the new Boxer is the digital capability that it provides for us. It gives the commander and the gunner and even the driver situational awareness around the vehicle at all times. The ability for the gunner...
He's full of shit. What he loves is the air conditioning.
To be able to scan his sector and the commander to be able to scan a whole another sector, and to identify targets by simply slewing onto that for the gunner and engaging them is probably one of the best capabilities that the Boxer provides for us.
So the Boxer Combat Reconnaissance Vehicle is far more capable, protected, lethal and enabled. It's a privilege to be part of the journey for the Boxer Combat Reconnaissance Vehicle introduction to use in the Australian Army. It shows the Australian Army is at the forward edge of AFV technology around the world.
Okay, some of the things you can take away from that, I put the bit that's a little bit more exciting for you guys out there to go first, to lead up before we actually get to the technical details that comes from the guy that's not wearing a uniform. When it comes to lethality, okay, someone's put down there no anti-tank weapon capability. I know that the actual IFV does, the Redback. It's got a missile system for that. G'day, Love Shama. You go, mate. I heard you had a good conversation with someone you need to talk to the other day, and they were quite happy with their conversation. No anti-tank missiles. I'm not actually sure. I don't think there is, Crusher, on the actual this vehicle, the AS-21, the Boxer, but their job is not to be attacking tanks. Their job is reconnaissance. It's not considered to be a fighting vehicle as such. It's reconnaissance. It can be used in an attack by fire, an ABF, okay, attack by fire. It can be used in a support by fire, an SBF, to support attacks on things, but its primary reconnaissance vehicle is to be able to see, detect, and then be able to use other assets around the battlefield to be able to put kinetic energy on them. The good thing it does have is the capability to hit other armoured vehicles as well as dismounts with a weapon system that reaches beyond the range of the weapons that can hit it, including in many cases the Javelin, unless it's you've got it at a closer range, of course. Also the 84 armour defeating weapon systems, which I've already discussed, they'll all damage these vehicles to a critical level. So don't think because it's made of armour, that makes you just safe. We've got drone swarms. Yep, everyone's getting a bit wrapped up with the drones. We've got drone technology. We've got counter drone systems. I believe they're working on right now. Will they be put on these vehicles as they appear? Yeah, I reckon they will. But the battlefield changes all the time. And remember, if they use it, we can use it. The drone is a very close range system. It's like having a forward observer you put forward to say that's the grid, that's the location, delivery system, here we go. We're going to see things like drone swarms, which would be an absolute nightmare for infantry soldiers, with something that is small, that has a payload and a swarm brain capability that just seeks out and closes with infantry soldiers, combatants, those with facial recognition systems that denotes you as enemy, etc., and then put a kinetic hit on those said individuals. That will be something that they could probably do already, but are we seeing that yet? I'm not sure. Aaron, it's a pity. How's it going, buddy? Not too good, mate. Not doing the best at the moment, but that's not your fault. Jelena, g'day, mate. How you going? Foxhound. There you go. Infantry, all the way. Mate, great platform. It is a great platform, I tell you. From someone that spent 20 years in the back of an APC, an M1113, just like my dad did, was all the way from Vietnam. I reckon that's where half of my back problems come from, being in the back of an armoured vehicle, with no suspension whatsoever, dropping over banks, creek banks down on the hard surfaces, hitting logs, hitting rocks, etc. That could take us to our next point, actually. Who actually owns these vehicles? And what I mean by that, I'll get to you. What I mean by that, I'll jump down a few questions. Well, for starters, let's talk about what is combined arms and manoeuvre warfare. Combined arms is when we actually have our artillery guys, our indirect fires, getting used alongside our manoeuvre systems, which is our armoured vehicles, fast delivering systems, being tanks, and being your armoured reconnaissance, etc., infantry fighting vehicles, and then actually having your kinetic guys on the ground, dismounts, etc., using those three around each other. I believe the first people to ever use it was India, that used to use that with elephants, with archers. Okay, we're seeing that now. We've got the kinetic punch of the elephant, the shock weapon system, with the standoff of having the archers, and it used to get surrounded by a section of infantry that used to have spears as well. So there's your combined arms. But with those, infantry versus cavalry, infantry is all about the seek out and close the enemy, to kill or catch him, seize and hold ground, repel attack by day and night, regardless of season, weather, or terrain, in all spaces and all phases of the attack, as well as the stages of the actual war itself, being the advance, the attack, the defence, and the withdrawal. For those in the military that might not be understanding the difference, remember the attack is a preparatory stage, the assault, the fight through, and then the what do they call it? The last phase of the attack. I've never got that wrong before. I haven't got it wrong yet until I say it. It slipped my mind. I'll be with you in 2 seconds. Let's see if the first one gets some brownie points to get one right. It's based on reconstitution of your forces. Reorganisation, combined arms warfare. Yep, so we should never see infantry dislocated from armoured vehicles. We should never see armoured vehicles dislocated from air or indirect fires that can assist us. So we've got the paper, scissors, and the rock plus aviation to be able to defeat our enemy. And if we've done our red force analysis, blue force analysis, individual military appreciation at the lower levels, and our intelligence guys have done their jobs, we should never lose by rights. Okay. The modern battlefield is dynamic speed, survivability, and lethality within the decision action cycle. Okay, so we need to use all of our weapons, all of our tools to bring the hardest punches, to cover our weaknesses, to actually be able to target their vulnerabilities at any given time for an ensured success. And what we do with war games that you watch, when you're watching things happen where you think, I was out on this Kangaroo 92, I was on Talisman Sabre 2024, whether you're on whatever it is, what you're doing is you're replicating war-like scenarios so that you're not surprised to have that come before you in the future. And it also means that everyone's getting tested under after action reviews that will occur post-event of these occurring. So we know what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, what we need to work on, with no excuses to hide behind. So who owns the IFVs versus the Boxers? We'll talk about that in 2 seconds. Let's go back here for 2 seconds. Hey, thanks very much, Mr. Carbine. That's a lovely thing to say. You've been a big help and a great role model for myself. Did you listen to my latest story of the Romans between Lucullus and Marcus? For some reason, it's got the least amount of views from any of my videos, and I don't understand why. I put a lot of work into that. It's brutal. I think you'll love it. I dare you to watch it. It only goes for about 8 minutes. It's about 4 times getting pregnant for people like me. Okay, Billy says, hi, Cass and team. My son's was an ASLAB commander after many years in infantry. Body was stuffed. Like in armour, in South Australia was great lived off base in beautiful unit or on heavy subsidy. Go for it. Guys, go for it. There you go. So Billy Krask is a very proud dad who's got sons in the military, and all the reports coming back, they're absolutely loving it. It's given them the life they need. Now we're seeing the battlefield is changing. You have many options. A lot of those aren't walking, but you do need to have that fitness, that longevity on your feet to be able to get the job done. All right. So don't presume at the moment with the way the government is, you're going to get straight to an air-conditioned vehicle that has a fighting capability that'll get you there, and all you've got to do is sleep during the day. And your worst problem is, can I sleep at night between pickets? Yeah. And the mosquitoes, that's a good way to keep them out too. Hey, Brycey, how you going? Just a quick thanks. Kaz going to start training for the Army. I hope I can give you a ring for a plan. Tried Patreon, but that was a bust. I hope you're doing well. Bryce, if you want to jump on Patreon, mate, all you got to do is jump on, go to the Black Legion. It's got unlimited positions there. I've been talking to people every single day. I look forward to talking to you, mate. Let's get you into a new world. It's a whole new world in 2024. Maybe an air-conditioned world at that. No, not quite. There, Crusher. No, it is actually the reorg. Okay, so the fuck, you got me in a jam now. It's this headache behind my eye. So we've got the reconnaissance, then we've got the assault, and then we've got the exploitation, and then we've got the reorganisation, known as the reorg. Yep, there we go. Well done. Not far behind there, Buckaroony. Yeah, he knows. Back in Bucko's day, every corps did at least 2 weeks of infantry minor tactics. So it really was that second role that everyone had an understanding of. I agree with you, Mr. Colin Mark. We should never have cut the section down to 8. I believe that was because of the seats for the platforms for these armoured vehicles to allow them to get in there, understanding that the Boxer can only hold 4 dismounts up the back. I don't recommend ever being in the back of these vehicles because they've got like a bouncing kind of suspension. You can feel like you're getting quite seasick in the back of these vehicles. Now, there's a couple of times I've had mum's spaghetti on my shirt already after being in the back of ASLABs, etc., that rolling, bouncing suspension. It doesn't feel good at all. Having said that, the dismounts for the back of a IFV is 8. Now, that suggests that there's an entire section and a dedicated crew commander, driver, and potentially weapons guy in that vehicle, which is a little bit confusing to me because I believe it's 8 inside the entire vehicle and 6 will get out if they have to dismount for default drills, etc., to go and search forward of the vehicles for reconnaissance to make sure that they can actually get an area that is safe to cross, especially if it's in a area that they may want to deny access to vehicles where there could be IEDs, VBIEDs, etc., that are set up. Wherever you've got to do a default drill to go out and check for the safety for that vehicle, and that can even be for an obstacle such as a natural obstacle. It can be to make sure that vehicle can get through that creek, how deep is it, etc. Who's willing to take their gear off and see how deep that is. But we quite often do that. It's also to assist in lessening the chances of a catastrophic kill on a vehicle and losing everyone. If a vehicle's going to get hit, you'd rather it just be the driver, okay, and the actual crew commander than an entire section in there. The actual the gunnery itself will act as similar to a manoeuvre support weapon system, where that weapon's from an elevated position with greater punch, greater caliber, while it has the dismounts on either side or on one side, known as a split when they go to either side, or a brake left or a brake right. But you'll learn all about that. It's not really that difficult. It takes less than a week to be able to completely operate in armoured vehicles from an infantry perspective. I haven't. I'll find a look. Great. Let's go. Let's keep going down. I don't know if we're doing something wrong here, team. It doesn't feel like many people turn up anymore. I don't know what's going down. This channel might be about to get axed, I reckon. YouTube doesn't want us here. That is clear. They just gave themselves another pay rise for doing a shit job. Yeah, they did. Okay, what do we got? My OC Julian to us that we were infantry primarily, and our employment roles came second. And our employment roles, that's never been true, but that's never true. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't trust 90% of soldiers that don't wear a combat badge behind me with a weapon system on action. It's like police. It's not their fault. It's part of the system. Not enough time on the weapons. When you've got people that fatigue, dexterity leaves. When there's no fitness requirements for the other corps, then you've got people panting like a dog needing a feed. And those fat fingers, they can do some damage. Yep, especially when there's people in front of them and someone does an ND, negligent discharge, unauthorised discharge of a weapon system. It's not good. And the less fit you are, the worse mental health is when you're on an overseas deployment. I was there for cutting the section to 8. It worked much better having 2 bricks. Bravo Company 2RR trialled the concept. Also 4 sections, one being MS section. It works way better. I completely disagree with everything you've said there. I was 2RR. I didn't like it when it came to. I never heard a single person ever like it. The 2 fire teams, no one. Straight away, it was 1 person away from the section, which meant capability came down. Now it means there's basically like a leadership sometimes problem between a 2IC who thinks that this is my section, you just worry about your section, etc. There's no one in depth that's actually giving the orders to their gun, to the other gun, okay, with symmetry, but which used to be the gun group. If anything, I believe we should have 10-man sections to 12-man sections, 3 fire teams. I reckon that would be a goer. Absolutely. Kaz, at Sydney at the moment, what's your advice for nav? Well, that's a great question, Sam, because a lot of people with navigation have either got it or they haven't. Every time I ever picked up a girl, I got lost on the way home or couldn't find my way back to her house. Good luck to them. But nav is one of those things, mate. If you don't have the natural knack of navigation, then what you need to do is make sure you stick to the actual skill sets and learn the theory correctly. Learn how to use that silver compass. Remember, it's not a 360-degree orienteering at 6,400 mils. You're looking at around $300 for a good compass, and another 300 and something for a good GPS. I think every soldier should have some sort of GPS system on them. But nav, if you're having a hard time with it, do more of it. If you hide from it, you'll get scared of it, and it'll find you unstuck. Every soldier needs to be able to do it, and there's no reason why you can't. Just ask for more responsibility with it, or you can actually get a compass and ask the section commander or the 2IC, do they mind if you do navigation along the way on some exercise so you can work on that nav, because you'll definitely need it for almost all support courses, definitely for mortars, definitely for DFSW. You're definitely going to need it for reconnaissance or snipers, and you're going to need it for every commander's course. So, yeah, find someone that's good at it and get them to take you through it over and over and over again. Map reading, try to understand, looking at it from the perspective of the Earth being a portion of the Earth's surface, and start to look at it like it's a 3-dimensional drawing in front of you. Now, Cav and Armoured Corps are the best at it. There's no doubt about that. They give orders on the move. But if you look at it and you start to look at the contour intervals and realise, okay, that's some steep ground. Okay, a contour interval is 10 metres, which means there's 18 metres it can go up or down without there being a line, which doesn't mean you just blindly look at it and go, there's a hill, that must be that one. Okay, pacing's a good thing too. Hey, Simon Powell, how you going, mate? Thanks, Cole. Agree with you, Kaz. Bad to cut the section numbers. The other thing we don't ever talk about is section numbers are normally lower than they ever are anyway, like a Roman Empire. 5,400, 4,800 men in a legion. No, they were never up to date. Just like the section, there's always someone who's injured. When you go overseas, there's normally always someone who's on rockle, which is the leave that you get allocated to yourself. There could be a sickness. There could be anything that happens. So if you're supposed to have 8, you'll probably have 7 or maybe even 6. And when you're doing double staggered pickets, because you never do a lone picket, especially in operations, you shouldn't be doing them in training either. It's not a good thing. Tired soldiers make mistakes, and the commander in the CP he makes no difference between the taking into account how much sleep you're getting when he says, I need you to be at point B tomorrow. JT, Jonathan Thurston, Kaz, also at Singo at the moment. What's your advice for cardiovascular fitness? If you're at Singo and you're asking that, you're already in trouble, son. That's to do it. Get out there, do the running. On the weekends, if you're going to do more, do more. Do the push-ups. It's too late once you actually get to Singo, mate. Now you'll be playing catch-up. I take it you're in the conditioning program at the moment there, JT. Guys, if you turn up and you're not up to scratch, you won't go into session. On the Thursday, you'll get found out on the BFD, the basic fitness, not assessment, but diagnostic. If you're not up to scratch for OH&S reasons, it's supposed to hold you back. Go through a conditioning program before you can be released onto a course. You don't want that. Yep. Be honest and ask your secco for help. He'll know if you need the help. Yeah. Fair call, Kaz. We disagree on sections. It was simply more streamlined. There wasn't a conflict. However much respect, brother. No, I'm totally with you, mate. I am totally with you. But I just take it from the fact that, again, I believe it was for matching up with what we've seen from the USA, etc., with fire team sizes and all that sort of shit. The MSS, that sounded like it was going to be a great idea, which was a manoeuvre support section. I was there for the foundation training for that. A lot of that, I believe, came from the Brits as well. And in theory, that should have been great, but it just wasn't used properly or manned properly. And that was going to be an extra section, so 4 sections could go out with a company, rifle company team. I marched out on Friday. Didn't sleep for 3 days for NAV. In fact, I do not. And I, in fact, do not have it. Lachlan, I was not good at NAV. I was good at theory, at practical navigation when I applied my training and understanding of how to use it. But my natural nav, my natural head nav, is not good. So, and I'm sorry about that, mate, because it sucks. Where are we? We're going field in August, so strap in. There you go, Judah. Let's have a look at another vehicle. Let's before we go to more about the actual not the ASLAV equivalent, the actual Boxer. So understand that vehicle is a reconnaissance. We've got guys from our channel that are actually in CAV at the moment, and they're going to also have vehicles, especially in the Army Reserve, that are the what's that new one? The Hawkeye. It looks cool. It looks fun. What its purpose is, yeah. Anyway, so what we got? So 200 vehicles are supposed to be coming, but 186 won't be coming for another few years. ABFs, SBFs, attack by fire, support by fires, yeah. Fuel range, 650 Ks. But take into account there is a lot of time where these vehicles are idling as well. I believe it's a diesel engine. The importance of diesel over petrol is if it's hit by a catastrophic weapon system, it's got a lot higher temperature before it ignites, which is a great thing to know. We've got, what does that say? 103 kilometres an hour, which is good, which means it can actually be used on our government roads. Okay, so it does have a tow system, anti-weapons. 133 later, 4x dismounts. Okay, that's okay. It makes me. I know the Army Reserves have armoured crewmen that actually can travel and do their own defile drills, all that sort of shit. They can be used for defence around the vehicle as well when it's at the halt, when it's in a hide or getting resupplied, etc. They can be go for guys. And there's some of the best armoured vehicle chefs you'll ever meet. Infantry, but I reckon we bring salami to the table, something that seems to be missing from the Cav. And the Cav will tell you don't touch their water for some reason. Yeah. Moderation. Was it dropped to 8 per section? This for infantry teams due to lack of numbers, or was it a tactical decision? No, I believe it was a finance decision. Yeah, if every single section up to 40 per battalion, loses one person, that's 120 people you're not paying anymore. So I reckon it's financial. Got my U session, 2nd of July. Let's go. Benny, good luck with that, mate. You'll be fine. Jesse Bell, navigation I got great at after being under a recon guide called Longy. Yep. We could nav 5 kilometres map to ground. That cost me on sub 1, JLC, Junior Leadership Training Centre. Doctrine is tool for fools and guide for the wise. Yep. Guide for the wise. What he means there, it's a very, very important point, is, and you see a lot of this on the Regimental Officers Basic course, when you see officers turn up and they think they already know it all when they come from RMC, which has a lower standard than what Singleton does, what happens is they turn up there, they think they're ready for the unit, but all they've been doing is really using doctrinal training. And the reason they do that is so that it can be used as a tool to base. Do they know what they're talking about? Were they good at it, etc., and how we can actually make that better. But what actually wins the battles is leadership, confidence, and capability of those on the ground that understand exactly what they're doing and know that they can pull the strings in certain directions, multiple courses of actions, and be able to exploit weaknesses in the enemy that they've actually seen with their battlefield cunning, just like an animal, and then exploit that and take the enemy down to Chowtown. So, again, Julius Caesar was one of the best at that, decision action cycles. He used to get in the head of his enemy, and then from there let them make an action first, and then he would follow up with a counterpunch of something that he didn't know he was going to do either until it arrived. And then we've got Scipio Africanus. How do you do a defense against Hannibal with elephants about to attack you? Well, how do you even train soldiers to say today we're going to be doing counter elephant drills? That'd be enough to make some people discharge, I'd imagine. Well, all they did was had everyone in a position that looked like a normal infantry formation, doctrine, as was stated down there by Jesse. And I wish I had Jesse's girl, but she'd look a bit old by now, I'd reckon. And what happened was when the elephants got close, and they were normally drunk as well, the elephants, didn't know that. What they'd do is they'd open up and they'd make channels. The elephant's a big deuce, so he'd run straight ahead. Didn't turn. They'd run, and as they're coming through those channels, they'd be getting attacked from both sides with spears. And the poor pachyderm didn't live happily ever after. So you've got to be ready to move with the battlefield. We're seeing Ukraine are amazing at this tactically on the ground. Found the weak spot with Russians and understand they're centrally their command is actually not very good down at lower levels. They haven't got decentralized command, they've got centralized command, so they keep waiting for that information to come down before they actually do something, which means the Ukrainians can work fast, maneuver quickly, cause them to get bogged down in the decision action cycle, and then from there take them out. Kaz, how you going? It's funny you're talking about the IFVs. I can hear the IFVs shooting down range right now in Pucker. Yep, and Pucker is the big spot. Guys, these vehicles are going to be operating along with tanks, etc., understanding that tanks afford domestic protection. They are the punching arm of the cavalry and armoured corps. So when you actually go to armoured corps, you don't necessarily just go straight to tanks. You don't just necessarily go straight to cav. When you go down there, decisions will be made. Are you going to become a tanky or are you going to become a cav guy? Yep. Interesting. I think it's going to be a fantastic corps. I don't know what's going to happen with their actual courses. What's going to occur when it comes to the infantry guys now do dismounted tactical section commander courses like they've always done for sub 2. Well, now do they have to do that and now also do IFV tactical employment of armoured vehicles courses? And which course do they do when they're still waiting for the goddamn vehicles to arrive? Which one? Because when you get away also, what's going to happen is there going to be another tactical armoured course getting run in Pucker as well as what it is in town? And is there going to be one run in Townsville? And who are going to be the instructors? Is it going to be cav instructing infantry? Initially, we need to know all this sort of stuff. Okay, Jonathan Collison. How you going, mate? Anyone have information on 1RR, the big blue one, the 1st Battalion of the Royal Australian Regiment and the first one to ever actually strap on the boots? Hit the like if you can, team. This is getting horrible. 16. I'm wondering why I bother. Why do I bother? There you go, Hoots. If that's the Hoots I think it is that Hooter, one of my good friends? Life in the regiment's a weird thing there, Hoots. 1RR is the best battalion, mate. How dare you? The best blue one is the only way to go. What about the 2nd Battalion, mate? Come on, second to none. Second to none. And now we've got 3R up there. So you've got paper, scissors, and rock competing against each other, competing against the girls. And we're all screwed if the American Amphibious Force moves down to share the nightclubs with us, because we know Australian women are addicted to the American accent. No, I think they're addicted to every accent except Australian. And they're addicted to Australian on an off-pay week too. You know, if you want a girl, you want a fast, go to Centrelink. You know, put your Tinder on 20-metre radius and use "I've got a job" as a come online. You'll be right. Yeah, it's Hoots. Hooter saved my ass. Hoots down here, guys. He saved my ass on a senior range instructor's course. Now, he was really, really good at technical shit, and at that stage, I didn't realise I had ADHD. Very, very nice man. Arrows, only just joined the stream, but Angel, it's like we're trying to do too much, but within too small a frame with our ADF. Arrows, I absolutely agree with you, mate. I absolutely agree. You know, one of the things that I think we should do, which I think would be absolutely amazing, I was looking at this from the fitness perspective, Arrow. The chocolate bar with the bubbles of nothing that really make it something. My favourite chocolate bar, to tell you the truth. Completely random, sorry. I believe that when people do fitness, you should be able to imagine if you had a score. You know, it doesn't matter what core you are, where push-ups are worth 1 point a score, or certain bandwidths. You know, so over 40, you know, you get a certain amount of points. Over 60, certain amount of points. Max score 80, whatever. And then there's the sit-ups, and then there's the run where you get points for the less time it goes. So people can actually ask, what is your score right now? Everyone knows exactly what it is, regardless of what core it is, so that you can actually judge people off their physical capabilities, and it gives you something to go, well, I want a better score than this if I'm going to be carrying everywhere I go. And it's on a report. Well, tangibly, you cannot score as well as that guy, so he got the job over you. You know, you've got to look at body sizes and constructs. I understand that. That'd be something that'd make people excited. 5'7", Cole. Mate, it was hard to be a fan of 5'7" because they got, honestly, they made a lot of, what do you call it? They brought a lot of heat on themselves for stupid shit, and 3R are always bagging them. So we only got told it was like someone talking bad about their wife sort of thing, you know? But because they were the only ones that were mechanised, and the rest of us were all light infantry except for 3R, good old faithful, who were para, you know, naturally they were looked at the fat and lazy. Was that the fact? No. You know, but if you stand out at all, you're going to get a nickname, and that's what it was. Ramps down, pants down was what it was called. I did my section 6 years ago, and I got class 4, okay? Back at it now with the PFA scheduled in 2 weeks. Been watching your channel since I started my application, Kaz. Just want to show my appreciation. Smiley, it's great to have you here, mate. I love having you on Patreon. I'm there for, as you know, that phone call. All you got to do, you've already reached out. I've given you a message. You know, when it's good for you, it's good for me. Let's talk and make you happy, whether it's geopolitics or whether it's military, whatever you want to talk about. Matto, g'day, Matto H. How you going, buddy? What else we got? Brady, you can depend on us. We're always here. We're dickheads, but we're here. Absolutely. Hey, it's been a while. Tahunga Tahira. G'day, Sarge. How you going? And hello, Bowley. There you go. Senior JT. Hey, Kaz, Senior, I'll have to put my preferences for my battalions. I just want to ask how 2R is and what it's all about. So 2R is a reconnaissance group, but they're an amphibious group. You know, so they're going to be the cutting edge. You better be able to swim good, real good, you know, because they're not always going to be doing that in the pool team. Okay, they're going to be doing that, doing helo casting out of small boats, doing maritime operation exchanges with the USMC, you know, and hopefully they're sending us all the time for Gold Eagle over to do training with the Marines at Kaneohe Bay over in with the 3rd Marines over in Hawaii. You know, I've done that a bunch of times. I loved it, you know. So I'll go back to your question. I just want to ask how 2R is. So it's a smaller battalion, reconnaissance-based, you know, high speed, you know, low drag. So when you go there, you're going to be working very hard. It's reconnaissance-based, not all about the fight. It's about securing a beachhead for the other battalions to go through you, but not in an Elton John kind of way. And then you get pulled back out of there as brigade commander's asset to go and do it again somewhere else potentially. Which takes us to one of the questions. Who owns IFVs / the AS-21s, the Boxers? So the Boxers are owned by the brigade commander. Those cavalry units, they belong to him. So if you want them to do reconnaissance for you, you have to put in like a bid. There has to be something to do with your mission, deconfliction of commanders to say, I need that for my task. And then they'll be out forward of like a screen, reconnaissance screen, where they're detecting for the enemy. The best way to think about the actual reconnaissance, how that works, they call it the man in the dark theory. So think of two people that are in a dark room. Okay, and the first thing that automatically happens, right, especially if you've got a lick of testosterone, is one hand will go out and it will start reaching, feeling, scanning. That is the reconnaissance. It's looking. As soon as it finds something, bang, grabs hold of it, pulls it forward, and then the other hand, combined arms, will just piston in and out, move to uppercuts, jersey over the head, uppercuts, knees, all that sort of shit, combined arms, destruction of the enemy. The most important thing is actually the location. That's what reconnaissance is. And that's the most dangerous area of all, where the grey matter is, because sometimes reconnaissance runs into the kinetic, actually attack formations. Where did that happen? Long Tan. Where did that happen? The Battle of Thermopylae. Where else did it happen? A million other places. The recon battle, if you win it, you know more about the enemy, which means you've got more of a chance to bring a plan to bear. And if you make it quicker, that action decision cycle, you're more likely to win. And that is what we're there to do. That's where the drones are also very important. If you can see people before they can see you and they don't know that you saw them, you're in big trouble. Yep, so you've got to be fit across the board, have some professional confidence and arrogance at times as well there, mate. IFVs, they're owned by the actual battalion commander. Now, depending on how many sections he has, how many platoons he's got of those, then he'll use those as armoured formations, and then he can use add-ons to that, whether it be tanks for attack by fires, support by fires, etc. One of the best things you can do, what was the name of that attack in from Kuwait into Iraq? I remember sitting and watching that live on the TV, and they were referring to it as the Juggernaut. It was fucking disgusting how lethal it was. Over 100 kilometres wide of just armoured vehicles just belting in one attack against Iraq, and they did devastating damage. Took that country over in a couple of days, really. Judah. I take it you know they don't take many people, so make sure you stand out. Great one there, Judah. So, JT, if you're going to go for the 2nd Battalion, make sure you talk to the section commanders. Make sure you let the section commanders know that your first choice is the 2nd Battalion Amphibious Group. Hopefully you stand out as not just a fit person, but a good guy, small team operator, because that's what that's all about. And then if you don't make it there, you can have 1 RAR or 3 RAR as a fallback battalion, which will still have you in Townsville, the biggest small town in Australia, and you'll be a happy guy because that's where it's really all going on in Townsville. G'day, D. How you going, mate? Now, for the longest time, I thought D was a lass, but it's actually a man full of testosterone. Good dude. Russ91, g'day, mate. How are you? Hope you're doing well. I've got a bit of a drive for my mum's 82nd birthday tomorrow. You never want to miss a birthday of your elders, because if you miss it, you can't get it back. And time is the most important thing as we get older. What do we got here? Emily, how do you think the environment at Kapooka is different for the reservist officer group? We have the longer 5-week course together. Not sure what to expect. Should I blend in or try to stand out? You know what? Just be yourself. Honestly, just be yourself. Thunder Run. That was the one, Hoots. Well done. Thunder Run. Yeah, Desert Storm was the name of the campaign, but Thunder Run, you can actually look it up. It's, There's a lot of guys with broken minds over some of the things that happened on that battle run. Absolutely. So Emily, I'm sorry, man. I always have trouble with that name for some reason. Be yourself. Being an officer is about having professional confidence that borders almost on professional arrogance. It's if you're being given a role and they say you need to make a decision, the first thing you need to do is be straight up with people and go, you are going to be my 2IC. You are going to be my platoon sergeant. You are going to be my section commanders if you get to check your team. It's not about making friends. It's about you having people that can do the goddamn job. And from there, you don't try and train in isolation unless they tell you have to train in isolation within your individual military appreciation process, or give a CONOPS back brief on certain things you have to do. But don't try and be something you're not, because people will find out. Once the pressure is applied, okay, who you really are will come out. And if it's not real, okay, it's going to hurt. 2 seconds. Hey, hello? Hello? Hello, beautiful. How you doing? I'm good. Can I ring you in a minute when I'm not online, please? I don't know. I'd rather cook for Mum tomorrow night than for Nan. So, okay. So I'd say no. Okay. Okay. I love you. It's going to be you getting to play with Alaska, and Nanny. Okay. Okay. I'll talk to you after when I get offline. Okay. Love you. Bye. Sorry, guys. That's a deconfliction with the family. Yeah. So I'll take my daughter up there too. Anyway, that Stockton Newcastle team, that used to be where the School of Infantry used to go and do their training. Hey, mate, got my assessment coming up very soon. Cook my shoulder, limiting me to just running for the past month. Should I keep it under wraps? Well, KB, is it getting better, mate? If it's getting better, I'd say keep it under wraps. But if it's an actual injury, what battalion are you going to, mate? Oh, you only got your assessment coming up? Keep it under wraps. Just keep it under wraps, mate. You'll be fine. Give it time to repair. It shouldn't be taking a month, but that sounds like an injury. If you need to, KB, jump on the link in either the comments and get onto the bat phone, and you and I can have a big conversation offline on that one, so that this is not getting triangulated back to you, matey. Will reservist officer training completely be mixed with regular reservists? Yes. Oh, okay. Would they keep us together? I'm not actually sure. Can anyone answer that? Can anyone answer what actually happens up to date now with the officer cadets at Kapooka? That is a good question. Make any difference to you, because you're not getting assessed there as a officer at all. All you're going to have is reports like everyone else. They did during my time. We were just regular chocks, and our sister platoon had half normal chocks and half officer cadets. Okay. This is a good question, but easy to answer. Ronaldo, I love what you do with soccer, mate. What happens if you fail year 10 but pass year 12? They'll take it off year 12. Just don't give you year 10 scores, give you year 12 scores. That's simple, mate. So, Eros, that was fairly recent you were talking about there. They did during his time in 2022. They were just regular chocks, and our sister platoon had half normal chocks and half officer cadets. Okay. Thank you very much for that. Lovey Sharma. Russ, they used to be mixed before, but not anymore. I reckon soldiers is 3 weeks now, whereas officers 5 weeks. I wonder if they're with them for the first 3 weeks, but a reserve soldier said he saw 0 officers at Kapooka a month ago. I suspect all officers in the 5-week course are just off with other officers. That may be the case. Australia's bid to manufacture cutting-edge missiles in rural Australia is threatened by China, who are bid to take over the company with Australia is dealing with. Wouldn't that be one for the cards, mate? That China actually owns the technology that we're training in to potentially go against them. Yeah, that'd be very interesting. Thank you, Simon Powell there. There's our you'll be able to look at the team, the actual link for In the Trenches with Kaz. If you want that one-on-one conversations, I'll be down and out for tomorrow, as you heard with my daughter going up to Stockton. But other than that, I look forward to talking to you. One-on-one conversation. That's why we do it. That's the best way to help you.
Today's briefing: the AS-21 Redback infantry fighting vehicle.
This is
Why
about the
Australia chose it. Australia is finally to replace the venerable M113 APC with an infantry fighting vehicle, IFV, under Project Land 400 Phase 3, part of the broader Land 400 program that includes the replacement of the existing ASLAV reconnaissance vehicles. The winner is the AS-21 Redback, designed by HAMA, with 129 vehicles to be produced in Australia. As widely suggested before the announcement, the project will now deliver a significantly reduced number of vehicles.
Why? Don't we kind of need them right now? Haven't we got battalions now actually operating in the space of either mechanised or motorised, and we need them to have those vehicles? If not, what are they actually using for their training? Continue.
With the original number of 450 now reduced to 129, which will cover only one mechanised infantry battalion, in addition to vehicles required for training, maintenance rotation and attrition reserve. It should be noted that the introduction of a modern IFV will lead to a doctrinal change for the Army, as the IFV can be used in ways that the M113 APC could not. So why did Australia choose the Redback over the Lynx? The AS-21 Redback was specifically designed for Australia and has significant changes from the Korean K-21, from which it is derived. With a maximum weight of 42 tonnes, up from the 26 tonnes, the Redback is heavy for an IFV, though there are others heavier, and is powered by a 735 kilowatt or 1000 horsepower engine, giving a power to weight ratio of around 24 horsepower per tonne, and is fitted with single piece rubber tracks. Rubber tracks are quieter, provide a more comfortable ride than metal tracks, but are more difficult to replace in the field. The Redback's turret mounts a Bushmaster 30mm cannon and a 7.62 coaxially mounted machine gun. A remote weapon station, RWS, is also mounted on the turret roof.
No, Aussie, I don't know anything about him, mate, honestly. I just looked at the videos, and once we understand the difference of the vehicle we're looking at, understand that this is a weapon. It has a remote weapon system. It has an anti-tank capability. It has an anti-armour capability. I believe it's got awesome aircon in the back, and we haven't got it. That's what I do know. But I also know it can be destroyed by all armoured defenders.
And can be integrated with a range of weapons, including a 7.62 or 12.7mm machine gun or an automatic grenade launcher. It is also fitted with Spike anti-tank guided missiles. Protection for the Redback meets STANAG Level 6 requirements, that is protection against 30mm APFSDS rounds at 500 metres across the frontal arc, 155mm high explosive bursts at around 10 metres. It is fitted with a range of active and passive protection systems in addition to add-on armour, survivable seats in the troop compartment, and a floating floor designed to mitigate the effects of mines or improvised explosive devices, IEDs.
Because what happens very quickly when something explodes beneath it, and if all of your weight is pushing down on that and it pushes it up, you might survive the blast but end up with 8 soldiers with broken backs. You've only got to go over a collapsed creek line to see how damaged it can be for the poor soldiers in the back. I've got lumbar. I'm nearly 3 centimetres shorter than what I was from the day I joined. If they're removing the ASLAV, do they have any other all-terrain or amphibious vehicles? No. I've lost complete track. No, they haven't. But quite often when we move with US forces, we'll be using their equivalent to their LCM8 equivalents, to their vomit vehicle, the Amtrak, etc. Completely closed down. Sniff the diesel, son.
The passive protection system includes laser warning devices providing all-round coverage, while active protection comes in the form of the Iron Fist APS.
That sounds like a Pride Month weapon system, doesn't it? The Iron Fist.
As I mentioned in a previous briefing, in strict capability terms, firepower, protection and mobility, there was little difference between the Redback and the other shortlisted candidate, Rheinmetall's KF-41 Lynx. Both contenders have essentially the same, and both offer the same levels and options in terms of firepower, including anti-tank guided missiles, and all carry a crew of 3 plus 8 dismounts. Both offered active protection systems and STANAG level 6 protection. While some reasons for the decision are likely classified and others commercial in confidence, some reasons had been given, or at least alluded to. These include that in the vehicle trials, the Redback was the crew's favourite, being more comfortable and providing a better ride.
What an awesome way to actually do it. Why wouldn't you ask the people that are actually, one, they're going to be living, fighting and dying in the vehicle? Their choice should come, followed not far after that by commanders, that have actually got time in the vehicles to understand what they're up against, because they'll also be experts at what their competition is. The second one is there should be some level of benefit that comes to Australia. Let's make Australia great again and get these built in Australia. Can't do it, find a goddamn effing way to be able to do it and do that. Let's put some money into Australian pockets.
Together with more room and providing better visibility and better sights. The Redback was also deemed superior to the Lynx during the risk mitigation phase. While this was not further specified, aspects may have included concern with supply lines, with supply lines for any South Korean equipment being much shorter than from Germany. One wonders if recent acquisitions of European equipment, which have had troubled service lives, may have affected the decision. While not mentioned, production timelines may also have been a consideration, as the government is accelerating this acquisition so that the first of early 2027.
So that's 3 years. That's when potentially Trump will be over. So either the damage is done or we're going to be back in the good books with the rest of the world. Who knows? We'll see the entire world starting to swing right with their politics at the moment. Whether it be France, whether people are starting to get sick of it and they want their countries back.
2 years earlier than planned, with the final vehicles to be delivered by late 2028. Together with this is the significance of diplomatic ties between Australia.
This guy's basically going to get in the army now and be able to discharge after their 4 years, vehicles they're meant to be living and dying in.
Australia and South Korea. Of course, the new IFE project doesn't exist in isolation and represents the final stage in the hardening of the Army's mobility. Under Land 8116, the Army will also acquire 30 AS-9 Huntsman self-propelled guns and 15 AS-10 armoured ammunition resupply vehicles. This self-propelled artillery
We've got a doctor in the house. Hey, Johnny, how you going, mate?
System, also from Hanwha, South Korea, is currently under construction at a plant in Geelong, Victoria. Australia had previously considered a follow-on order of the AS-9 Huntsman to equip a second regiment of self-propelled guns, but this has now been cancelled. The AS-21 Redbacks will also be built at the same facility. Of note, it appears as though the AS-21 will share the same engine as the AS-9 and AS-10 self-propelled.
Holy shit. So do they come under artillery or do they come under Armoured Corps? Wouldn't that be good for artillery if all of a sudden they go, mate, we don't have to walk anywhere anymore. We don't have to carry our Lego piece cannon. I don't know what's going on there, Aero. What was that alluding to? They're getting rid of it.
Artillery system vehicles. This will provide significant training and maintenance saving over the life of the vehicles. So engine commonality may well have played a part in the significant positive for the Redback. Australia will now have a modern IFE to support its main battle tank force, which is being upgraded. The 50.
You still got to have soldiers to put in them, don't you? we got there, Poker? Because I just want to let you know you're great ladies. That you help all of us. Our heads are above water, mate. Keep it up. Don't give up. Much respect. Cheers, mate. It is getting harder, but mate, 9 years, one of the smallest channels on YouTube, and out of the video I put out a couple of days ago, out of 170 people, less than 3 people have watched the video out of 170. If people don't want the channel, that's fine. I've got plenty of things I could do instead. I love helping people, but you got to know when the day is done, don't you, mate?
9 M1A1 Abrams that were acquired by the Australian Army in 2001 are being replaced by 70 M1A2 SEP-V3 tanks. As many will appreciate, if you're going to operate tanks, you need very capable armoured vehicles to support them.
Yep.
The M1A2 Abrams, AS-21 Redback and AS-9 Huntsman should provide a very capable and networked armoured force.
We were basically in for the last 50 years or so, team. The M113, fantastic vehicle, to tell you the truth. Always better than walking, leaks like a sieve, and really can't take a hit from a flank, or from the bottom. You go over an IED shape charge in that one, everyone's going to the moon. Yep.
Now, this decision is extremely important for Australia's armoured force, as the current M113A4 is not survivable on the battlefield, even in low-intensity conflict.
Well, it's doing pretty well in some of the areas at the moment in Ukraine, to tell you the truth.
In summary, it was probably the most significant deficiency in the Australian Army. As I stated in the comparison briefing, either of the candidates, on paper, appeared very good options. Key determinants for the government in making the decision were likely to have been risk mitigation over the full life of the project, the economic benefit from domestic production, and political considerations. For those who will be equipped with the vehicle, the outcome of these considerations appears to have aligned with the trial and crew's view that the AS-21 Redback was the best option.
Okay, so we understand. But they're going to take a long time to get here. There's not that much of a leap from the previous M113. It is air conditioning, fantastic for the soldier, a better system for them for survivability, manoeuvrability, firepower, etc., communications, upgrades, weapon capabilities. Okay, a lot better. Especially a lot. The vehicle only had the 50 caliber machine gun on top of it, the M113. So I won't be facetious. And if it saves lives, awesome. And if it puts money into some Australian workers' pockets and creates jobs, even better. Okay, so Eros was saying, asked about what my thoughts on Liberal Coalition wanting to build nuclear power plants. Absolutely for nuclear. Okay, I'm absolutely for nuclear power. It has nothing to do with actual weapon systems, weaponization of nuclear and plutonium, etc. This is a nuclear system, just like I agree with some solar. I agree with some hydro. I agree with oil. I agree with coal. Our fossil fuels, a little bit of everything. A hybrid system where people can choose. Where we are the client, and there's no reason why the people that have the most of this in the world, being us, should be paying the highest energy fees, and we should not be selling it to China or overseas individuals either. Yep. Unless we're exporting it for something that gives money back to Australia. Do you think the role combat engineers is good to go into? It's an excellent one, mate. Engineers is a fantastic corps. You get the mateship, you get diversity of roles, everything from being an assault pioneer equivalent to being someone who's a dog handler. And when you start to get a little bit old in the tooth within your own corps, instead of a corps transferring, you can then go and become either a plant operator, get all your major tickets, while also going and becoming potentially a sparky, or a carpenter or something else. never being paid an apprenticeship wage. It's amazing. Thanks for that, Aussie. Yeah, we do like to help the people, the future of our country, the future of the security, and for people to also understand there's people out there that are there for the actual person who's enlisting, not just for the Army's needs, they're for their needs. Yep. Yep. Maybe news now is because we've successfully got everyone in the military. Maybe that's it. I end up with awesome phone calls every day, so I can't complain. It would be useful if we had the PZH 2000 Caesar Archer or any of those self-propelled artillery that tons of countries have now, trucks with guns. I think we're going for the HIMAR at the moment, so we can fire easily and dodge return fire, counter battery fire. Yep, I get that. Well, guys, I might get out of here. I've taken up a bit of your time here. You've been very respectful. I think the Australian population has come around to nuclear being one. The energy mix. When I was a kid, the 70s, it was feared. Remember the local nuke-free? Yeah. What a lot of people don't realise is when Chernobyl happened, that was some scientists and some guys that were pushing that plant beyond its limits, and they found out the hard way. And then we had Fukushima in Japan. I don't believe anyone lost their life with that in Japan individually through people doing only what Japan seems to be able to do, volunteer work to clean up their location, their area, and done a magnificent job. Absolutely proud of the way they facilitate themselves. They've got their own problems in areas, but it's not that we don't. Yeah. Well, let's get back to it. I want to go and get some painkillers and, wake up tomorrow feeling a bit better than I do right now. But guys and gals, to people like, we're talking about shit. Sorry, guys. Mind blank. Yeah. Mind blank. I hope you have a good weekend. For all those that are looking at getting in the military, we're here for you, guys. You might feel isolated. You're not. Come to the channel. We look forward to reaching out and taking you through a solo journey, and turn that into a herd mentality. Because that's what it's all about. You might think you join the army, drive a tank, whether it's to fix something or whether it's to fire a rifle or go on adventures, but really it's about mateship. It's about teamwork and appreciating the fact that we live in the land of the free and Australia is the best country in the world. I believe it is. I really do. All right, team, take it easy. See you later, Cole. See you, Billy Krask, D. Simon Powell, the filthy Raffy. We've got Eric there, Smiley, always smiling. That's how we like your socks in Kapuka. Crusher, Mind Erosion. Thanks for the messages there before, my man. Judy first, and I need to get to the toilet, I think, now. So did him out for the village. See you later. Take it easy. Do it to them before they do it to you. Have a good weekend. This is the last time in your life you get this weekend. Remember that one. Pick up some garbage, and I don't mean human. So, yep.